Alright, guys. Let's try Hall of Trials. So, real quick review of this. We're trying to decode Illusal's team, right? This guy, I guess he just took a whole bunch of drugs, right? That's the only thing I can think of, right? Because the altered way you'd have to think to come up with this team, to be able to... Let me put it this way. This is the Epic 7 equivalent to somebody moving one piece on the chessboard and saying checkmate in 40. Right? How he was able to think this far ahead and suss out this team blows my mind. But mad props to Illusal for coming up with this one. I'm just running my standard Brieg. I'm not running anything special on Brieg, right? The only thing I did differently is I put him on an artifact that boosts attack. You could use Super Duper, Water Shooter, Warhorn, anything like that to help boost him up. I guess I could maybe ink out teeny tiny bit more damage if I put him on a higher chance to crit, but I just really didn't care. I really didn't care. This seemed to work just fine. I'm running Acades. I actually turned her imprint on to try to give Lilka a little bit more defense to try to help keep her alive because she's squishy. I think that might not have been necessary. Remember, you want to have a lot of HP on her because her healing skills are all based on her own HP. So you want to make sure you get the full heal off her skills. I tried her at about 255 speed. I found she was cutting where I didn't want her to. Now, part of that's because of Warhorn. And it was recommended to me, shift off Warhorn, go to Water Shooter, but I didn't want to lose that extra 4.5% attack. You know, a buck's a buck. I wanted to get all the max attack, so I just dropped her speed a little bit, and that seemed to have solved my problems with Acades. So, speed tune her in, and just tinker with her speed. Up or down 2 or 3 speed points if you find she cuts where you don't want her to cut. You're just going to have to do a few runs and get a feel for it. And if Acades is always in the wrong damn spot, tinker with her speed a little bit, or consider changing her artifact. As for an EE, you want to run her on the number 1 EE. You need this extra 25% chance to debuff. If you don't get this EE, you're trolling. You're making life really, really hard for yourself. The reason being that we're relying on her S1 skill to have it's at base, a 40% chance. Sorry, at base, a 35% chance. 35%, 40% chance, 50% chance, and then the 25 from the EE gets us to 75% chance. So you could be anywhere from 25 to 75% chance. You want to get this as high up as you can. At 75%, that's going to be 3 25% RNG checks. That works out to about a 33% success rate. So even if you do everything right, you've only got a 1 in 3 chance of completing. It's that freaking RNG heavy. And that's the good news. That's the Acades. Next, we're going to run Blaze Dingo. So 420 Dingo here is going to be rocking the best damage set I have because he's actually going to be doing a significant chunk of the damage. You want to have him north of 8,500 health. If you're below 8,500 health, you're probably going to die with the initial S3 attack into the 3rd phase. It's just not enough to survive. So either walk away from torrent set or play around with torrent sets that have HP on them so that you can get him as close as you can to 8,500, 8,600 HP. He also needs to not be the slowest unit. Speed doesn't really matter as long as he is faster than Lilka. So at 126 speed, I take 126 divided by 1.05. That's 120. I need my Lilka to be 120 speed or slower to make sure that Lilka goes after Dingo. And that interaction's important. If it's the other way around, you can still do it, but boy, do you make life harder on yourself. I'm giving Dingo the Cruel Mischief artifact to give him the maximum damage possible. His EE doesn't really matter. I guess theoretically the Gab might ink out a little bit more damage. That's kind of akin to putting crit on your Brieg. It's not that important. So don't worry about his EEs that much. He only needs 85% crit because we are hitting a Dark Boss. Elemental Advantage gets us there. This is not free-to-play friendly. This is a very, very... I mean, even though it's 126k CP, this is really, really high-end gear. I recommend trying it with just crit set. I think you'll get a little bit further on your gearing. You don't need to go this nuts to get a super high score. And lastly, our Wolf Girl Lilka is our big damage dealer. Again, same build as Blaze Dingo. I'm a little bit below the 8,500 health mark. I'm kind of going to try to rely a little bit on the defense bonus from Acades to cover it, but this is really, really close. I don't like going below 8,500 health. I think you're just asking for trouble, but we're going to give it a try. You'll notice she's at 120 speed, so she is perfectly tuned to go after Dingo. Rest all into damage, just everything into damage. As for an artifact, if you do not have the limited POS artifact from the 2022 Espa collab, then please go onto Stove and tell Epic 7 to release POS, their version of it, as a Hall of Trials artifact and put it in the shop, because even though they changed Cruel Mischief to try to replace POS, we're coming to situations where both are needed. And it kind of sucks that this artifact's not available. They just need to put it in the shop, in the Hall of Trial shop, and let people buy it. Just like we can buy Cruel Mischief and all the other artifacts in the Hall of Trial shop, right? Simple solution. It's used for Hall of Trials almost exclusively. Put it in the Hall of Trial shop. Make this accessible again. But for those of you who don't have this artifact, your next best option is going to be Dux Noctis, because you're going to get a significant amount of crits from Blaze Dingo, so this will ramp up the attack enough where you should be able to do significant damage. Outside of Dux Noctis, your only other option is really going to be a Symbol of Unity for extra damage. So that's my recommendation. So this is the team, and now we're going to try to make it work. Okay, we're going to turn auto off here. Start of the fight, Yufine's going to scream and do a shit ton of damage. Look how bad this hurts Lilka and Blaze Dingo. All right, that's just on the phase 1. Phase 2 is going to take the health down to about here, and phase 3 is going to take the health down to a freaking sliver. And that's why you want to be very careful about making sure they have enough health, because it would suck to tune this perfectly, and then you get through phase 2, and you just can't survive that initial hit into phase 3. Would drive me freaking bananas. So make sure you have just enough health on them to keep them alive. Speaking of keeping them alive, we're going to use Acades heal up here. And because I got 20k health on my Acades, that was just enough healing to get everybody back to full. Now we're going to just start stacking S1s into Yufine. I want to try to get 7 out of the 8 hits on Yufine. And the reason for 7 is that lets me use Blaze Dingo to push into the phase so he can get the special buff. It's not required, but it's really, really nice if you can hold back Blaze Dingo's S2 for what pushes the break phase. So I got everybody's skills turned off. I'm just going to cheat a little bit with auto because I'm lazy. So there's 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits. We're going to scream, get set on fire. 6 hits, turning auto off. The reason I turned auto off here is because, well, I guess I could have autoed one more fight. There's 7 hits, turned auto off. That's 7 hits in. I want that 8th hit to be from Dingo when we push phase. So I'm just going to heal up. This heal is going to get rid of these burns. Now, in a perfect world, Yufine should cut. She usually does. Like, look at this CR bar. This is speed RNG right here. Usually Yufine cuts, and if Yufine cuts, it's kind of perfect. You can Blaze Dingo will be the last one to go, and we can use the S2 skill. But because Blaze Dingo didn't cut here, I have got 2 options. I can either use my S3 to heal somebody up, but nobody's really that hurt. So I'm just going to S1 one of the eggs, because I want that 8th hit to be the last hit I do. So I'm just going to S1 an egg here. Now we get hit, and this pushes us into the phase where we need 4 debuffs. Lilka is tuned properly, so she's right the first one to go. So this is going to be 2 debuffs, decrease attack and decrease speed. That'll get our countdown from 4 down to 2. If I can find my mouse in the snow. So that takes us from 4 down to 2. Now we've got our RNG check. We've got our 75% chance to decrease attack. Now we get this because we're lucky, and we take that 2 down to a 1. And Brieg has got 2 debuffs here, but she is immune to defense break. So it's technically only one debuff here. And for those of you thinking, what if I put like Song of Stars on Lilka? These have to be from attacks. They will not trigger from artifacts. But we only need one more debuff, and that will guarantee get it because there's no RNG on the 100% skills. And this gives us all but the last hit. She screams, burns everybody. Now you see we only need one more hit, so I don't want to hit Yufine yet. I want Blaze Dingo to be who pushes phase. So I'm just going to S1 one of these eggs. And then we can S2 to push phase. Now watch who he hits on this next attack. It's important. It's very important you pay attention to this. Okay, he hit Yufine, and that gave us our first weakling. If he hit the egg, we don't have our first weakling. And what we need to do is time it using Acades to reset Dingo. Whether or not we attack or we CR push, we need to time everything to make sure that Dingo's S2 is the third weakling. I know, it's a lot. If it's not the third weakling, we don't get the reset, we don't get the buff, and everything falls apart. So we've hit Yufine, we're at weakling 1. So I'm going, and remember, you can't target the eggs here in the break phase to make it even harder. So I'm going to S2. This is going to push Dingo up. This hit here is weakling 2. Let's try it here. We'll S2. Dingo gets pushed up. If I hit here, it'll be weakling 3, and it won't be an A. We won't get anything. So I'm going to use my S3 on, I don't know, on Lilka, I guess. Protect from the burn so that I can stall for one turn. Let's reset Lilka for right now. Now we are able to do the S2 skill into the weakling 3. So we S2. That is weakling 3. Triggers the counter attack or the extra attacks on an AoE. We hit Yufine again. It's good to notice that. Since we did it with an AoE, everybody's S2 skills are reset. So everybody's S2s are back, you know, except for Dingo, of course. We can... We're only at 3. We need to get this up to 5. Let's see. So we'll S2. This will push Dingo up. There is number 2. This will push him up. And then I can S2 to reset, because we're on weakling 2 now, so the next hit will be weakling 3, so I need to reset as S2. Isn't this great, guys? Isn't this nice and technical? It's all about balancing this S2 skill so that we can S2, there's weakling 3, and now everybody's S2 skills are reset, so we can keep going. We hit Yufine again. I'm up to 5, right? I'm up to 5. As soon as you're up to 5, drop a bomb. That's weakling 2, okay? So Blaze Dingo is going to need to go around the horn twice, right? So, because I need this next one to be his AoE, it needs to be his S2 skill. So we're going to reset Blaze Dingo. That's going to push him up. If I S1, it's going to trigger weakling on a single target attack, and I won't get the resets. So I need to not attack. So I'll use his non-attack skill again. I guess I'll just S3 Lilka here. And then I'll use Lilka's S2. That's going to CR push Dingo. I'll S2 Brieg. And now we're ready. Now I can S2 into weakling 3. There's weakling 3. We pay attention to who Dingo hits on the next attack. It's important. He hits an egg this time. So we don't have any weaklings up. Okay, she doesn't have her S3 ready, although we're at +5, so I'll go ahead and do this. This will push Dingo all the way up. We'll just S1 here. That's weakling 1. We'll drop the big bomb. That's weakling 2. And then we'll S2 and reset Dingo for weakling 3. Actually, we're ready to leave the phase now. Here's what I'm considering, guys. I'm considering, do I reset Lilka to make this cooldown into a 1, to make it a little bit easier to be ready for the next break phase? Or do I reset Dingo so that I can do another S2, S1 skill and then have to worry about Lilka not being ready? I think I'm going to make the next break phase easier. I'm going to go ahead and reset Lilka on this one. So I reset Lilka. I just do the S1 here, and we push out of the break phase. All right, you see how the second one hit us even harder. Remember, our health was like up here on that initial start of the phase. Now our health's down here. So when we get into phase 3, it's going to be even worse. Okay, so let's see. Where is everybody's health? Yufine's next attack is going to be a big scream that sets us on fire, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get as close as we can to 7 ticks on the bar. So we'll start out with a hit. Katie's, is your full heal ready? Your full heal is ready. Okay, so the risky move here, guys, I'm trying to decide, is if I use the barrier to survive the scream, because the burns will burn through the barrier but won't kill, but the next round the burns will definitely kill. Will Katie cycle around in time to heal up? I think she will. I think she will, and that way I can use her skill to cleanse the burns. I'm going to use my S2 here to barrier up. Then I'll use an S1 here. That's hit number 2. Here come the burns. Katie's cuts. Yes! That worked out smashingly. You've really got to pay attention to the CR bar in this fight. So we can heal up and get rid of those burns. Okay. There's hit number 3. Hit number 4. Hit number 5. Yufine's moving a lot faster now, so it's going to be a little bit harder to squeeze these hits in. Hit number 6. Hit number 7. The scream happens, and we are in good shape. Now we just need to not get 25%ed. It's been going so well. How could we possibly miss? We can't miss because we're just too damn lucky. We go from 4 to... Okay. It's okay. I'm confident Yufine is going to cut and get us one more chance at that defense break. Please. Don't make me do this over again. I'll just S1. Lilka drops the 2 debuffs. Brieg drops the 1 debuff. And please, Acades, cut. You can do it, Acades, cut. Cut. Oh, goddamn. Thank you, Acades. Thank you. You surely are not going to have bad RNG a second time, right? You're surely going to just drop this in. Yes! Okay, we made it. We made it. Oh. The hurting can stop soon. We want Blaze Dingo to be the one that pushes the phase. I could heal up all of the burns, but they're really not that bad. Everybody can survive this. And I like the idea of having non-attack skills ready inside the break phase. So I'm just going to hit the egg. Remember, we're not in the break phase yet, so you can hit the eggs. And this lets us perfectly push phase with Blaze Dingo's S2. Pow. Pop. Pop. That gives us the buff, the reset, and we're good to go. Okay. So since Blaze Dingo went into the egg, we don't have any weakness points up yet. So we'll S2 here. That'll run Dingo down. As weird as it sounds, we need to S1. We need to get a point onto the egg. So we're going to S1 to get weakling 1. If we had hit Yufine, we could have S2'd there, but we needed to S1 to get a hit on the egg. This is our second hit on the egg. Now we got weakling 2. Now we can S2 reset Blaze Dingo. Getting the rhythm now, guys. You seeing how this goes? So that we can S2 into weakling 3 for an AoE hit into the reset. S2, weakling 3, we get countered. That resets everybody's S2. We hit Yufine this time, so we're at weakling 1 already because this extra hit went into Yufine. So we'll S2 here. This is weakling S2. We'll have Yufine or Acades reset Dingo. Pushing them up, and now we're ready to AoE, and this will take us into weakling 3. The kickback, everybody's S2's a reset because of an AoE skill. We hit Yufine again. We are only at 4, so we're not ready to drop any bombs yet. I mean, we couldn't if we wanted to. Our S3's still on cooldown. So we will S2. This will push Dingo up. Now, it would be tempting to S1 here to get us to weakling 2, but something's different this time. What's different this time is Lilka is ready to hit. She is going to be our weakling 2. Since she's our weakling 2, we use a non-attack skill on Dingo, so we don't run the weakling counter up. Doesn't really matter on who. I'll just stick it on Lilka, I guess, for reasons. Lilka drops her S3. There's weakling 2. And now we can reset Dingo so that his S2 is ready. And there's weakling 3, and everybody's skills are reset back again. And we hit Yufine again, so we're at weakling 1. We need 2 turns on Lilka to get her S3 off. So let's S2 with Dingo. If Blaze Dingo had hit an egg instead of Lilka, this would have been a little easier to time, but it is what it is. So we just have to take the lesser damage of an S1. It's still pretty good damage. It cost us about 3 million points, 2 million points. We'd have been at 37 instead of 34, maybe 36 instead of 34. It's not that big of a deal, but it is what it is. So that was weakling 2. Blaze Dingo's S2 is not quite ready yet, so we will we'll use this barrier. Now the little blessings that you can look at on this, right, is we can still use the S3 and we can get one last big hit off with Lilka. So I'm actually not going to complain too much. I think this actually worked out pretty well. This might have been optimal because we still got the attack off with Lilka. Big attack. 39 million coming out of the second break phase. By the way, we were way past Dagger Sicar threshold a long time ago, so if you can suffer this far, you're good. Look at that damage. Look at that damage. This is why I'm saying 8,500 health. If you go less than that, it could be bad news, guys. So be really careful putting just enough bulk, especially if you're going to try Torrent set. Just enough bulk. Get that bulk threshold. If you want to try it down around 8,000, if you want to try that RNG, you do you. But I found less than 8,500 was a little dodgy. Once you've got that bulk threshold, then you can push your damage stats back up. Okay, now a couple of things. We need to get to that break phase, and we've got one major problem. 2 turns on Lilka. So we really need to cycle Lilka so she can debuff for us. So as crazy as this sounds, I'm going to S2 Lilka right at the start. And I'm going to rely on... Old Brieg doesn't have his barriers. I didn't check the CR bar. I'm such a dumbass. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no, it's over. It's freaking over. Oh, why did I think Brieg had his S2 ready? There's no surviving this. Blaze Dingo's going to explode like he's going to pop like a zit. Bye, Dingo. He lived! He lived! He lived! He lived! He lived! It's okay. Even though we hit the egg instead of Yufine and we're behind 1 on the counter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, we're going to heal everybody up. Never punished, right? Never punished. Holy crap. Okay. First hit. Second hit. Third hit. This is going to go into Brieg. Fourth hit. Fifth hit. Sixth hit. We don't have a 7th, but we'll just have to run it, guys. We will just have to run it. Holy crap, that is one hurt Dingo. Okay. I still think we might be hosed, guys. Because she's going to... No, she just... Okay. We're going to go around the horn. Because I sat up in my chair and evidently to help my ass to get up in the chair, I pushed down on the mouse button to lift myself up, and we S1 when we were supposed to S3. So, I don't know if there's coming back from this one, guys, but we're going to heal up here and try to go around the horn once. Yeah, you know what? We're just going to put some barriers up here. Chop, chop. I don't think there's any way that Brieg is cutting. Not with Dingo up in front. If Brieg cuts Dingo, we've got a shot. Lilka will not cut Dingo, though, so Lilka's going to get left in the dust. Oh, guys, it's over. It is over. Man, we even got that lucky hit. It's okay. Surely with the bear, surely we somehow survived this, maybe, possibly. There's no way. Holy shit. Holy shit. But it doesn't matter. He's got the berserk. The fight's over. The fight's over, guys. Berserk is up. But you can see the process, right? We don't misclick. We push into the break phase, and then we get another 25 million points from the break phase, and boom. That's how you do it. Now, this was just one run through. I hope you guys see how it can be done. It is not easy. It's a lot of crackerjack tuning, making sure your speed is exactly in tune with it. Everybody goes in the proper order, making sure you click the exact right buttons, making sure you pay attention. Because if you go, crap, did I hit an egg or Yufine? Well, you're just going to have to guess, and if you guess wrong, you brick your whole run. So you've got to pay attention. But even if you only get to phase 2, you're still a top 10, you know, you're still a top 100 placement. But if you can get into that phase 3, you're knocking it out of the park. Easy 60 million run, and believe you me, there's not 100 people in this world crazy enough like you to do this and get your full 3 runs for your full max score. I'll do it a couple more times here because I am that kind of crazy, but there you go. If you do not want to do it with Blaze Dingo, go back to the old school version using Doris, Cirilla. Pick your poison. If you like Doris better than Acades because she's got less RNG to her, then go with Doris and Cirilla. If you want to keep using Lilka, you'll have to switch to Acades because you can't have double green units anymore. Or, sorry, double element units anymore. There's... And this is an interesting option right here, right? Using Surin to stack the debuffs. A lot more RNG on Surin's skills, but she's got a skill that can lay down multiple bleeds, so she can be your debuffer. So there are options and ways forward to get into the top 100. Just look through the trees. It's all the same theoretical thing, right? You're using no bullying to trigger the extra hit and get your AoE off for resetting, or you're using Blaze Dingo's S2 to trigger the extra hit. But you're going to have to either use Senya or Blaze Dingo. I don't think I've seen a comp yet that doesn't use one or the other. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. I'll go ahead and get the top score. Not the top score, right? I am not even kidding when I say if I get... Like, if I get to, like, 62, 100, I'm gonna, like, just start attacking random ads until I die. This is Illusal's baby, and he came up with this tech, and he deserves the top spot. So, if you're watching this video, don't knock Illusal out of the top 3. He deserves it. He came up with this tech. Protect this man's interest. Let him be the number 2 this week. Don't be a dick. Don't push him out of top 3. And I hope the developer who came up with the mechanics for this week's Hall of Trials steps on a Lego. Like, I don't usually wish ill on anybody. I certainly wouldn't wish harm on him, but I hope he stubs his toe really, really hard. You know, bangs his knee on the coffee table and has to, like, hold his knee and rock for a half an hour. I think that's reasonable for what he has put the community through with this week's Hall of Trials. But if you've got a better team, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a great rest of your week.